Slim, what about another one?
Okay, this one goes back as long as the old Rain Tumbles. I did Rain Tumbles and I followed with this one, and I was a bit romantic in those days, but anyway, been a fool too long. I'll do the runs. Should have known in laughter she would leave me. My sweetest dream of heaven now is gone, and from crazy paradise I've just awakened to find out that I've been a fool too long. I met her midst the music of a dance band. Into my arms she sweetly came along, and now this verse of mine will end in nothing but just to say I've been a fool too long. Oh, there ain't no use in me a-crying, baby. Hey, there ain't no use in telling me that I'm wrong. Forget, by gee, that's all I say now. Forget that I have been a fool too long. Here we go. I got a picture of that. She'd kind of take my money and she'd spend it. She'd kind of tell me off when things went wrong, until one day a little birdie whispered, for goodness sake, don't be a fool too long. There's lots and lots of things that I could tell you. Her name I shall not mention in this song, 'cause she's not worthy of a single sentence. Ah, but what's the use? I've been a fool too long. Oh, there ain't no use in me a-crying, baby. Hey, there ain't no use in telling me that I'm wrong. Forget, by gee, that's all I say now. Yes, forget that I have been a fool too long.
What year was that?
That was done in 1946.
Was that before you met Joy?
I hope it was.
Well, no comment.
Last night at dinner, you said that you wanted to interview Slim.
Yeah.
Well, you have 2 minutes in which to do this.
Oh, well, there's lots of questions I'm sure people would love to know. 1946. I remember you and Joy telling me that in those days people used to they wouldn't ever admit that they were country music fans, right? They used to hide them under rocks.
Oh, I mean, for the early days of recording at the old studios at Homebush, you were ushered in, and you were and you were ushered out in case somebody important saw you, sort of attitude. And we made the money, and some of the baritones and sopranos lived off our royalties in a way, because we sold more records than them. But it was quite. People just, the young ones can't really realise. When I did Rain Tumbles Down in July and Been a Fool Too Long, I never heard those songs until they were released to the public, because it was on a big old wax cylinder and it was processed and on the market before you heard it.
So who was the most popular when you started in Australia? Who were the Australian singers back then?
Well, we...
were there many already? Or?
There were quite a lot of singers. There was the Singing Stockman, Tex Morton and Buddy Williams were very popular, and Smokey Dawson was coming up, and things like that. So they sort of opened a path, but in lots of cases, I mean, Tex was a great artist and a great performer, a great entertainer. He was sort of half Australian, half American type.
And he was born in New Zealand.
And he was born in New Zealand, but can't blame him for that. But anyway, and Buddy Williams came from the Dorrigo area. He was more of the Australian type. So, I mean, from the time I was about 10, I decided, well, this is the country we live in. This is what I sing about.
Yeah.
I mean, Rain Tumbles happened on our property. I didn't have to write it. It just happened before my eyes.
Did people go crook that you didn't sound American enough back then?
They said, listen, if you don't really do some overseas cover versions, you're not going to exist. And I said, no way.
Yeah.
So I was a bit weird, because I sang all Australian stuff, and there was so much Americanism going on. But, I mean, people like yourself and so many others today are doing what I dreamed would happen, all singing Australian, being proud to be Australian. And that's what I must put a plug in for people like Felicity. They're all doing their own thing, and they're all still very proud Australians. I reckon that's good, John.
I think it's terrific, and I think it's interesting that to listen to you two talk. And really, your attitudes to things are so alike. You never, I mean, you just wouldn't do anything that resembled anything to do with the United States.
Well, I used to do cover songs as well.
Yeah, I know, but then you said that
I finally said, no,
that.
that's it.
Yeah. Oh, we've all done one or two here.
And I'm not
there.
against. I think maybe I will one day, but I thought there was certainly a point to be made, and I think we've just about won through now.
Oh yes.
You know, so but I would probably, if a song related to Australia from America, I'd probably still do it. But I prefer to write my own anyway.
Yeah. Tex went to America, didn't he?
Tex went to America. He stayed there for about 12 years, did hypnosis, became Dr. Robert Morton, things like that. And he came back to Australia about the time when I had the Pub at No Beer released. And he couldn't work out why such a song was so popular. And I remember working at the Sydney show, and I forgot to bring my Gibson guitar in. My guitar, which I was going to play that day in the show. And Tex came, and Tex said, "I'll race out and get mine." It was the greatest battered piece of material in the world. And I had to grab somebody else's guitar. But, you know, to the Pub at No Beer, for those 6 years, when I released the Pub in 1957, got the first gold 78 in 1958. That's the year my son was born. And, you know, that sort of carried me for about 6 years. I was the Pub at No Beer man. And Bill Robinson, I must tell you this, Bill Robinson is a great one on figures. And see, the Pub at No Beer came out, and that was the last one I had on a 78. And then it sold on, and I got a gold record, a gold 78. Then I got a gold 45 when it was switched to a 45. And Bill has checked up on the numbers of the 78 sales of the Pub. Mm-hmm. It sold 78,000. It was a 78. It sold 78,000, a few hundred. Isn't that amazing?
I bet there wouldn't be too many. There wouldn't be 78,000 of them left now, but they'd be valuable now too.
Oh, they're worth about $50 a pop, I think, something like that.
You didn't go to. It was a hit in England too, wasn't it? Pub at No Beer?
Yeah, I missed out. There was agents fuddling around and fooling around, and I missed out on getting to England.
Oh, you were going to go though.
Yeah, I was supposed to go, but by the time the arrangement was set, the Pub had slided down the charts. And I was very, very crooked on this bit too. We sold over 250,000 copies or something in England, and I was eligible for the Silver Disc Award. But my sales had gone past just before the award actually was evolved. So they said I wasn't eligible. Boom, boom.
Never mind, you got enough.
Yeah, he wants another. Now he wants another one. Yeah.
Oh, you never get enough.